Hi, Misfits. This is Kevin.
And this is Kate.
Welcome to Horrorwood.
There it is. Hello, Kevin.
Hello, Kate.
I think this is the first time the listeners have heard us since you had your amazing dance
My
recital.
Irish dance recital. Yes.
You were so good.
Thank you.
I was very impressed.
So it's fun. It's really fun. It's
Yeah.
hard to learn. It's a lot of like quick foot movement in
Yeah.
succession.
Yeah.
So
But you were great.
thank you. I'm glad I did it. It hurt really bad, but I pushed through. My ankles are still like,
Oh, jeez.
I wanted to do a good job, so I was just
Yeah.
like forced it.
Well, and you
through.
guys like rehearsed a million
Oh,
times
we did like 12
beforehand.
times right beforehand.
Yeah.
Oh, but yeah.
Oh.
Oh, thank you for coming.
Oh my God. I would not have missed it. It was so fun.
I saw you and Spencer there, and I was like, yes.
Yeah, we actually got there at the same time.
I love
and
it.
so we went up together. I just have to say, that room, though, was so hot.
It was really hot.
There
in
was
there.
no air. I thought I was going to pass out.
Yeah. I sweat through 2 t-shirts.
Jeez.
And that was just crossing the street.
Oh my God. No, you were so good. I was very impressed.
I loved it. I just signed up for the next slate of classes.
Nice. Speaking of signing up for things,
We have a new Patrodian.
hello.
And Brittany Davies.
Brittany Davies.
I have known Brittany since we were like babies.
That's
like
incredible.
Our parents were friends in the same like teaching district in West Virginia for, like decades before we were even born, I think.
That's bananas.
So like we grew up together. I know her very well. Love her to death.
Hi, Brittany. Thanks so much
Yeah,
for
thank
joining
you
our
for
Patreon.
joining. I love it. Kate said that and I was like, yay.
Because Kevin
Love
doesn't
her.
always see the notifications, but I saw it and I was
Yeah.
like, hey, did you know? Because I knew that was a friend of yours. And you were like,
Yes.
what?
Brittany. Well, welcome, Brittany.
And Brittany, because you signed up before September 1st, it means you are going to get one of our fall gift packages.
Fall gift package.
Our highly
Packages.
coveted
Yes.
fall gift packages. Yes, if you sign up on our $5 tier by September 1st, you will be getting a little something in the mail from Kevin and myself.
Mm-hmm.
And we did it last year. We're doing it again. But because we have to order and or make the things that we're sending, we need to have you signed up by September 1st so that we know how many to get
How many
of
to
things.
get, how much to do. Also, like, people are in different places in
Exactly.
the world.
So sign up. You still have time. And if you want to sign up after that, that's fine too. We just can't guarantee the highly coveted
A
fall gift
package.
package.
Patreon.com/horrorwoodpodcast.
There it is. While you're at it, give us a rating and a review.
Rate, review, subscribe. It helps.
Da-da-da. Kevin and I saw a screening earlier this week. Well, this is coming out Monday, so we saw it last week.
Right.
Of skincare. And for our Patreon subscribers, I'm working on that case. So I mentioned that I was going to do an episode on that. I wanted to have it out for you on Friday when it was released nationwide. Didn't happen. Sorry about it. It's been a crazy week, but I'll have it out for you this week to our Patreon subscribers.
I'm excited to listen to more about that.
So before you jump into this
Yes.
case, which I'm very excited about, I can't stop thinking about the Olive Thomas case that we did last
Yeah,
week.
that was really good.
Well, here's the thing. The more I thought about it, I was like, wait, did Jack Pickford have something to do with it? Because if you remember when we were talking, the Pickfords got him discharged from the military as ordinary instead of dishonorable. So they had some power.
There was some clout there, yeah.
And just he acted pretty strangely afterwards. And also, why did it take 5 hours to get to the hospital?
That's true.
I was talking this out with Matt on when we were headed to dinner last night.
Yeah.
Because I was like, Matt, about Olive Thomas, which he hasn't even listened to the
So
episode.
he's like, what are you talking about?
Yeah. And we're like on our way to our reservation. And I was like, I don't know. I think it could have been possible anyway that it was Jack. If you haven't listened to the Olive Thomas episode, maybe skip ahead like a minute because I'm about to say some things here. But my theory was that the stuff that she took was prescribed for syphilis for Jack.
For Jack. And she mistakenly took it. Yeah.
And that he felt guilty about that.
Sure.
But I don't know.
It's hard with poisoning because, like, sometimes you can see sort of how it happened if someone else were to do it, but then in instances like this, it's so easy for us to say, oh yeah, absolutely, that was an accident.
Right. And I don't know when he would have had the time to go in and slip that into her drink, because her drink was in the bathroom and presumably she didn't put it in there prior and then leave and then come back to it. I don't know.
And then he's treating his syphilis and
pouring a little
in her drink. Oof.
I don't know. And then there was the other theory that it was a suicide, and she was impulsive, and they had been fighting, even though Jack denied that, which is another weird thing. I don't know. I'm just like floating ideas. I think anything's plausible, which is why it's considered like such a scandal.
Right. And as Brandy Norwood and Whitney Houston would say in the Cinderella soundtrack,
yes,
it's possible.
It's possible. Okay, can we talk about the fact that I played Cinderella in high school and I sang that song?
Kate, are you serious? I didn't know this.
Dead serious.
Video. Is there a video?
There's a video somewhere on VHS. And I don't know what happened to it. We couldn't even find it like after I'd gone to college. So it's long lost, but somewhere out there.
It's out there somewhere.
It's sitting.
Check your old VHS tapes.
Everybody look at your VHS
Hopefully
tapes.
You don't find like a murder or something. And if you do, write it down.
Write about it and tell us. We do want more listener tales coming in.
I would love that. There's got to be a lot out there.
I mean,
maybe
have
this
some,
will spark some if you've been to the city.
Oh, do tell.
Beneath the glamorous facades of Paris, a shadowy labyrinth stretches over 280 kilometers.
I'm a stupid American, so can you convert?
174 miles of labyrinth. Its passages steeped in centuries of mystery and macabre. The Paris Catacombs,
Dun, da, da.
An eerie ossuary that houses the skeletal remains of millions.
Millions?
6 to 7 million remains, to be exact.
What the hell?
Yeah, we'll get into the history. So this is a haunting narrative of death and secrecy. Their depths echo with legends of lost souls and hidden treasures, whispering tales as old as the city itself. Amid this subterranean world of darkness and dread, a film emerges.
Oh.
As above, so below. That plunges into the catacombs' infernal underbelly, drawing inspiration from Dante's vision of hell. Again, I'll talk more about that.
Okay.
Dante Alighieri's The Divine Comedy. As it intertwines cinematic horror with historical enigma, it brings to life the chilling allure of Paris's underground city, where reality blurs into legend and every shadow hides a new revelation. The Paris Catacombs. All right, so we're talking about...
It went from like super like mysterious to here we go.
I had to get in my little intense first paragraph.
Loved it.
So we're talking today about the Paris Catacombs, which are a series of tunnels located underneath the city of Paris. As I said, there's 174 miles of them.
That's a lot.
It's a lot. From what I looked on at a map, I don't think they're all super connected. It seemed like there were 3 main areas that they're located within the city. It's a crazy map to look at.
Sure.
I'll show it to you. But yeah, only a small fraction of that 174 miles is open to the public as an attraction. Okay. There's only like a mile of it that you can actually go into as part of Paris's museum network.
Sure. I don't think I would ever want to go.
I want to go. But the thing is, I was looking up on Reddit and people are like, it's interesting. Like, it's cool to go down there, but you have to wait like 3 hours. It's like a long time. It's so popular.
I just feel like I would be so claustrophobic.
Oh, absolutely.
And I would think that the whole thing was going to cave in on me and I would have a panic attack. But
Sure.
that's just me.
I understand, Kate. I've seen you get claustrophobic in that haunted house and it's scary.
Okay. I can't
I'm sorry.
you brought that
No.
up.
Bring
The
it back.
trauma.
The trauma. Anywho, let's go ahead and say that the term catacomb is somewhat misleading for what this actually is.
Okay.
It was never used for direct burials, and lacks any sort of like sacred character, like religious element to it.
Okay.
So unlike an underground cemetery with tombs and funeral monuments and like mausoleums, this place was named Catacomb by analogy of the necropolises of Rome. So Rome also has these catacomb tunnels under it as well.
Okay.
And it's more so for like all the burial stuff and everything. So everybody just kind of like threw the name catacomb at this collection of tunnels. So its official name is the Ossuaire Municipal de Paris. Yes. Similarly,
Kevin just looked at me like, where's my fucking applause?
You better fucking say something.
He told me before this episode that he looked up the pronunciations for everything.
You guys, I was on Google Translate. I was like, I'm gonna get this stuff right.
It sounded beautiful, and I'm sorry that I wasn't quicker with my...
Kate, be ready.
I will next
Damn
time.
it. No, it's okay. Seriously. These are old quarries that are sometimes incorrectly referred to as catacombs. In reality, only the section that forms the ossuary, which is a cemetery basically, and is isolated from the rest of the network is called that. So like the place that you can go into with all the bones, that's like an actual catacomb.
Okay.
But everything else is not used for, or wasn't meant for burials, or it was used for other stuff, which I will bring up. So the remaining tunnels have been utilized for various purposes, including subterranean mushroom farming.
What? Didn't see that one coming.
I didn't either. Beer storage, and serving as a bomb raid shelter and a meeting place for the French resistance during World War II.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
So let's go to the history of these tunnels, right?
Let's go.
And it starts with mining.
Okay.
Wonderful.
Many things do.
Quarry tunnels have existed in the area since Roman times, notably the 13th century.
All right.
We're talking way back. And it all goes back to the mining of limestone.
Oh.
Builders began mining the limestone. Are you picking your nails off?
I'm sorry. Some of them were loose. Some of them were loose, and I cannot stand that. And I was like, I just got to let them go.
I love doing that, though.
It does feel pretty good.
I love when I put on, sometimes I'll like just randomly put on some gel polish.
Yeah.
And then I like to
peel it off.
Peel it off.
Same. It's a bad habit. Well, is it bad? I don't know.
I don't think so. I think it's bad when you like chew your nails down to the bed. And
I don't chew them, but I do pick them.
Fair enough.
Like all the way down.
We all have our things.
And that's mine.
I used to chew straws.
And that's yours.
So limestone. Oh, it's amazing. Builders began mining the limestone underneath Paris to use for buildings and structures like Notre Dame, for instance. So much of Paris was built with mined limestone. Removing big pieces of stone from under the ground doesn't really do a great service to the land above it when you're not reinforcing that.
Yeah, that doesn't sound great.
So the mining would dig down, creating these tunnels, and then they would be abandoned when all the resources were gone.
Okay.
So that's how they started.
Got it.
However, it was quite a while until there was a fatal collapse.
Oh, see, that's what I'm talking about, collapsing. I can never go down there.
In December of 1774, there was a huge chunk of homes and people on the Avenue d'Enferro-Charroux.
You got it.
Went plunging down 84 feet into the ground.
Oh my God.
A whole
terrifying.
city block just went into the ground.
I have so many feelings.
It's awful. This was not just an isolated incident because it was kind of set off a chain reaction of like...
sure.
So more sinkholes started forming around the city. Stuff is just plummeting into the ground.
That's terrifying to me.
It's crazy. King Louis XVI was on top of it, though.
Okay.
He got an architect whose name was Charles-Axel Guillemot. And he was like, listen, Guillemot, we gotta fix this shit because stuff is collapsing. We can't have that happen.
Yeah. It's
and
not a great look.
Like, no. He was like, get under there. You do some exploring and mapping of those quarries and let us know like what to do. Exactly those words. I read a transcript. He was also asked to fortify things down there. So like the tunnels needed to be stabilized so this shit didn't happen again.
Okay.
The quarries were not initially all connected, though. That's the thing. Like, it was just areas here and there where people had dug down and mined out the limestone and then left those tunnels. But there were so many of them that Guillemot was like, let's just connect them.
Sure.
Let's just get them together and like, they're all here anyway. So
Let's get together.
Yeah. I wonder how to sing that in French.
Oui, oui, oui.
They continued digging
Mm-hmm.
underneath the city until 1780. And
Jeez.
so that, like, over those 6 years, he connected all the tunnels, helped fortify them. So this is kind of like the creation of that network.
So they were able to do that in 6 years, and yet there is construction going on in Chicago that I swear has been going on since I moved here more than a decade ago.
Yeah, same. So at the same time, Paris was facing a critical shortage of burial space.
Ooh.
It was so bad that the graveyard contents were seeping into and contaminating the city's water supply. This is going to get gross.
Oh, gross.
So by the 18th century, sewage flooded the streets, further polluting the water. There was no place left to bury the dead, with the graveyard called Les Innocents, the Innocents.
Okay.
Cemetery being the worst one. This cemetery held over 2 million bodies.
What?
2 million bodies.
Like, were people buried on top of each other?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, my God.
Just bodies on bodies on bodies.
Oh.
Bodies on bodies on bodies on bodies. I think it's a Megan Thee Stallion song.
Sure.
So David Barnes, who's the author of The Great Stink of Paris and the 19th Century Struggle Against Filth and Germs, says, quote, Republicans in France saw themselves as the vanguard of the future of civilization and the church as the antithesis of everything that was modern, civilized, and healthy, says Barnes. Cleaning up the cities, villages, and countryside of France was a political project framed as a scientific and secular health crusade. The law was unpopular with the faithful, who wanted to be buried where their families had been laid to rest for centuries. I think I missed something. Give me 1 second.
Okay.
King Louis XV issued an official decree in 1763 banning all burials inside Paris's city limits because of all this overflowing.
Wow.
And there was pushback from the church to try and prevent this.
Yeah.
And by putting their efforts there, these cemeteries were not immediately relocated outside of the city as they should have been. So, like, the church decided to fight it rather than actually, like, moving the bodies.
Yeah.
Well, it blows up. We'll see. So in 1780, something really gross went down at La Innocence, which is Paris's biggest cemetery. I know I messed it up. Which is Paris's biggest cemetery. We know that overcrowding was crazy. 1/10 of the city's dead were buried in that cemetery. 1/10. The living and the dead competed for space, especially where the cemetery bordered the bustling Les Halles market. Historian Rosemary Wakeman writes, quote, human decomposition mixed with the blood and guts of the market with piles of rubbish to form a putrid stench, a dangerous effluence that made Les Halles an axis of infectious disease.
Oh, gross.
Infection and disease, but also infectious disease.
Yeah. I can just like picture that smell.
Oh, absolutely.
Ugh.
French writer Louis Sébastien Mercier warned that cadaverous miasmas threatened to poison the atmosphere of the city. He claimed the vapors soured milk and wine stored nearby, and that the cadaverous humidity of the cemetery's walls had the effects of venom. Our friend Barnes, who wrote the book I quoted earlier, explains that miasmas can be roughly translated as contaminated air that was thought to spread disease. While germ theory didn't yet exist, it was common knowledge that people who lived and worked in areas near cemeteries or slaughterhouses or any major centers of decaying organic matter were more likely to be sick.
Sure.
So they're in it, germed up.
Gross.
In the spring of that year, 1780, there was a lot of rain, which caused a shit ton of flooding and the collapse of a wall around Les Innocents Cemetery. The ground becomes too heavy with water and bodies. All of these rotten dead corpses,
Oh my God.
along with bones and human remains sludge, spilled into the streets surrounding properties.
Okay. I had no idea this episode was going to be this gross.
Nasty.
I'm so disgusted right
It's
now.
yucky.
I wasn't prepared.
I wasn't either. The church and Louis XVI were mortified and sought out a solution. They went to Guillemot, remember our architect who was helping with the tunnels, and said, what do we do here? And he was like, so, we have this network of tunnels underground that no one's really using right now. So let's get all of the dead bodies down there. And that's what happened.
Okay.
So the government shut down that big cemetery where all the bodies just came out of the graves.
Oh.
The tombs, common graves, and charnel house, which are essentially mausoleums, were emptied of their bones. All of this stuff was transported at night because it was gross.
Well, yeah.
And no one wanted to see all of that mess.
Imagine you're just like out and about going shopping in Paris and then like a body just floats by.
That's what was happening.
Gross.
Just bodies.
Bodies on bodies,
Bodies
on
on
bodies.
bodies on bodies on bodies. Megan. So the bones were dumped into 2 quarry wells and then distributed and piled into the galleries by the quarry workers. So they dumped all these bodies down into the catacombs.
Ooh.
Yeah. The sites where this took place was consecrated as Paris Municipal Ossuary on April 7th, 1786. And from that time, it came with the name Catacombs.
Okay.
That's when people started referring to it as the Catacombs, in reference to the Roman catacombs, which I had mentioned before. So this whole moving dead bodies was a pretty big undertaking and a continuous process. It took almost 12 years to move all of the bones from Les Innocents alone.
Jeez. And they're
Yeah.
doing it all at night. Well, no
Yeah.
wonder they have to like.
Well, and also, let's remember that right after all of this happens, French Revolution.
Sure.
So that, was going on for like 10 years, and transfers continued even after the French Revolution until 1814.
Wow.
So I think they were kind of having to just do it when they could. But then a few other cemeteries needed purging, including Saint-Eustache, Saint-Nicolas-des-Champs, and the Bernardin Covenant in the center of Paris. So these were other graveyards that were too big and
Yeah.
overflowing, and they're like, okay, God, we gotta
Here we
purge
go
Here we
again.
go again. Get those bodies out of the ground.
And then put them underneath the
And then
ground.
put them somewhere different,
Ugh.
underground. Yeah, the transfers resumed until in 1840. And it was also happening during city renovations by Louis Philippe and the Haussmannian reconfiguration of the city from 1859 to 1860. What the fuck is that, you're asking?
I am.
Yes. So the Haussmannization of Paris was a project to renovate the city that began in the 18th century and continued until 1871. So the project was led by Baron Georges... Oh, God. Fuck. Okay. I can do this. You looked it up. Georges Eugène Haussmann. There we go. Who was appointed chief of this project by Emperor Napoleon III in 1852 during the Second Empire. Haussmann's goal was to modernize Paris and make it more livable.
Okay.
And his work transformed the city from a medieval maze of narrow streets and dark buildings into a structured, airy space with greenery. The city is changing majorly at this point.
Yeah.
He came in and was like, this isn't working anymore. We got to revitalize this place and make it look nice, make it look better.
Company's coming, you guys. If people want to come over
You
here.
guys, I don't want to go outside and a body just flies out of the ground.
No one wants that.
When we're having our tea.
Yeah.
Or our croissant.
Yeah. There you go. You worked it in.
Thank you.
Before this episode, he was like, I don't think the word croissant comes up
Croissant.
anywhere. And you
And
made
now
it happen.
did. And here it is. Bow, bow, bow. Starting in 1809, the catacombs were opened to the public by appointment from Napoleon Bonaparte. A register was placed at the end of the circuit for visitors to write their impressions, which quickly filled as the visits became a popular attraction for both the French and foreigners. People were interested. They wanted to
get
see
it.
the dead bodies.
I get it.
Well, and also the area of the catacombs that they were going into was where all the bones were, which is that like 1 mile of space.
Okay.
Over the years, the ossuary became the resting place of many illustrious individuals. In 1787, the Count of Artois, the future Charles X, visited the site with a group of court ladies. Not where. He went with them.
Okay.
He was like, come on, ladies. Let's go see the bones.
Oh, God.
In 1814, Francis I, the Austrian emperor, toured the catacombs. And in 1860, Napoleon III descended into the catacombs with his son. Throughout the 19th
Kevin's getting very animated with it.
Throughout the 19th century, visiting arrangements constantly changed, ranging from total closures to monthly or quarterly openings. The catacombs became a popular attraction for royalty and important figures, and in 1867, the area was finally opened to the general public.
Oh.
So they're like, hey, rich people, guess what?
Yeah, were they? I assume they were charging people to go down there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I think at first in 1809 when they wanted to open it, it was like, no, let's send the exclusive people down there to see this exclusive thing.
I see. And now they're like, give us money.
And now they're like, oh yeah, we can take money from everybody.
Give me $20.
Give me $20. 20 euros. Guess how many? Oh, we already said this. There's 6 to 7 million people's remains in the catacombs.
Insane.
A lot of them were victims of the French Revolution, which spanned from 1789 to 1799. So due to their age, the quarries, not part of the official catacombs, have been deemed unsafe by Parisian officials.
Okay.
However, the vast and extensive network of tunnels makes it difficult to keep secret societies, thieves, artists, and curious individuals from entering the dangerous areas.
People, don't do that. It's dangerous for a reason. You're not supposed to enter it for a reason. Let's not go there.
Yes.
Kevin wants to go there.
Yes. Today, the Paris catacombs are open to the public without requiring authorization, and they welcome nearly 550,000 visitors annually.
Wow.
D'Enfer au Charou Ossuary is the tourist site of the catacombs that you can visit at 1 Avenue de... This one I forgot to look up. I knew there'd be one in there I didn't find. Colonel Henri Roltangu. There are the images you see of the bones arranged in various shapes and patterns. This was done by the funeral workers who were tasked with placing the bones.
Oh, wow. So, because I've seen the pictures, where all the skulls.
Yes.
Is that what you're talking about? Okay.
Yeah. All the skulls kind of lining the walls and the halls.
The walls and the halls.
The walls and the halls. Bodies on bodies. So, yeah, the funeral people did that.
Okay.
And a lot of the times, if a bunch of people were brought in together and they knew they were family or they knew they were connected somehow, they would try to at least
that's good.
line their bones up together.
Yeah.
So there's also an inscription above the entrance that reads, "Stop. This is the Empire of Death."
That's ominous.
There's even a barrel-shaped pillar made of bones that was built as a support structure in an area of the catacombs known as the Crypt of Passion.
Something about that, I'm sure some people are into that. That just gives me so many icky feelings. The fact that bones are used to hold this shit up. No.
In the Crypt of Passion?
No.
Yeah.
Don't like it.
Due to vandalism and theft of several skulls.
People suck.
I know. The catacombs were closed from October to December of 2009. With the site's reopening, additional security measures, including bag checks upon exiting, were implemented. So don't take people's bones, people.
That's a person.
That's part of a person, yeah. Since 1955, entering the catacombs without permission has been illegal. However, explorers known as cataphiles continue to venture into the darkness to explore the hidden world beneath Paris. A special branch of the Paris police, nicknamed Cataflix by locals, patrols these underground passages. In the 1980s, a movement dedicated to exploring the tunnels emerged. After the discovery of a secret cinema, Patrick Alk, a photographer close to the group responsible, commented that the discovery, quote, was a shame, but not the end of the world.
What?
Yeah.
So there's a secret cinema?
Oh, yes, we will talk about it.
Okay.
He noted that there are dozens of other meeting places, just like the one the police found in the labyrinth. All concluded by saying, you guys have no idea what's down there.
That is freaky.
Mm-hmm. In September 2004, police in Paris uncovered that fully equipped cinema restaurant. Cinema restaurant.
I don't want any food prepared next to dead bodies. Just putting that out there.
I think these are also in the bodies are only in one section of the catacombs.
Stuff permeates.
You're right. But they found this in the city's upscale 16th arrondissement. I don't know what that means. I assume it means an area of the city with the number 16.
That's a great guess. An educated guess,
Thank
one
you.
would say.
Quote, we have no idea whatsoever, a police spokesman admitted regarding who built or used the site. The cavern featured various symbols, including 2 swastikas, Celtic crosses, and Stars of David, leading the police to rule out extremist groups. I don't know how you rule out extremist groups when you find swastikas, but maybe I don't, I wouldn't have ruled it out immediately.
I think we want to keep that in the suggestion box.
Yeah, they speculated that it's got to be some kind of like weird secret society.
Definitely sounds like it.
Yeah. Members of the police force's sports squad, responsible for patrolling the 174 miles of tunnels, caves, galleries, and catacombs under Paris, stumbled upon the complex during a training exercise beneath the Palais des Chalots, near the Eiffel Tower. They entered through a drain next to the Trocadero and discovered a tarpaulin marked building site no access.
Wait, they just found a drain and were like, let's see what's down here?
Yeah. Entry points to the catacombs are hidden and varied. It's not like you can just find one and jump down.
That.
No, they are very well hidden.
So you could just be walking over an entrance and not even know.
And you don't know. Yeah. So they entered through a drain, and behind it, they found a tunnel with a desk and a closed-circuit TV camera that recorded anyone passing by, accompanied by a tape of barking dogs to scare off intruders.
What? This is bananas.
Isn't this crazy? So deeper into the tunnel, the officers found a vast 400 square meter cave, 18 meters underground, resembling an amphitheater with rock-cut terraces and chairs.
Okay, I have seen a picture of it. It looks so uncomfortable.
Oh, absolutely.
Who wants to sit on a fucking rock and have to sit through a movie? Why?
Count me out.
I don't understand the draw. I mean, I get that there's some morbid fascination with ooh, I'm down here where people are buried and it's secret and la la la. That thing's gonna come collapsing down on you, and you're sitting on a rock, and you could just be sitting at Alamo Draft House, reclined and ordering food to your seat.
That sounds good.
Doesn't it?
Let's go now, and then we just click off. No, I agree. I would not want to go sit under there and watch a movie. There was enough room for about 30 people, and the cave housed a full-size cinema screen, projection equipment, and tapes of various films, including 1950s film noir classics and recent thrillers. A smaller adjacent cave had been converted into a bar and restaurant.
Oh my God.
Complete with whiskey bottles, a pressure cooker.
A kikir?
A pressure cooker for making couscous.
Who's making couscous to watch a movie? Couscous in the catacombs. Why?
A pressure cooker full of couscous.
What is happening?
Tables and chairs.
How did they get all this stuff down there without being noticed?
I want to know the same thing.
Was this some middle of the night operation?
I think most
carrying
of it is, you don't want to be seen going underground. I think that's kind of the first tip off.
Carrying a giant movie screen?
Well, those roll up, I think, right?
But still, they're long. They don't fold up
someone
like origami.
With their pressure cooker and bag of couscous.
What is happening? Is everybody okay out there?
The entire setup was powered by a professionally installed electricity system and had at least 3 phone lines.
Who's calling down to the catacombs? Is it like movie phone where you call to find out what movie's playing?
Yes. Oh my God. Catacomb movie phone. All right. So we just talked about the crazy movie theater under in the catacombs.
In restaurant/bar.
In a restaurant bar where you could get couscous and whiskey.
What a combo.
Hey, I haven't tried it. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, let's not
Let's
knock
not
it.
judge into Kate. We'll have a couscous and whiskey night.
All right. Can't promise I'm going to show up.
So when the police returned to the movie theater site 3 days later with experts from the French electricity board, because they were like, how the fuck did they get power down here?
Yeah.
They found the phone and electricity lines cut.
Oh.
Everything was gone. And there was a note in the middle of the floor that read, "Do not try to find us."
What?
Mm-hmm.
Weird.
Crazy. Several secretive groups of cataphiles explore under the tunnels, accessing them mainly after dark through drains and ventilation shafts.
Anything I have to access through a drain, I'm probably going to stay away from.
Yeah. I mean, that's where it is.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't go there.
No.
So while these groups are often imagined to hold like drunken orgies, they're typically engaged in innocent underground picnics. It's not like a crazy...
Okay.
Like people think they're going down there to like devil worship or
Sure.
do insane
And
shit.
they just
and
want
it's
to eat
like
their couscous.
people just want their couscous and whiskey.
I mean, hey, whatever makes you happy.
And a watch a 1950s film noir.
On a rock.
On a rock.
Is it such a problem?
Kate, we're describing Grant Park Music Festival.
What I do love about the Grant Park movies in the park
Yes.
is it at Grant Park or Millennium Park?
Millennium Park, I'm sorry.
Is when people, like, I've only gone once. And I took Matt to see Top Gun because he'd never seen it before. And I was
God.
like, who are you? And it's just everyone with like their full on fold out tables and their wine glasses and chandeliers. Like people go all out.
Yes, I've seen
It's
it.
amazing to me. I love it.
It's fantastic. Good, do you?
Yes. So if you want a couscous and whiskey down in the catacombs, like I guess fine.
One group, identifying itself as the Perforating Mexicans, claimed responsibility for the subterranean cinema. Perforating Mexicans was a group that hijacked spaces for public art and apparently ran that underground cinema.
I see.
Patrick Alk, the photographer who I mentioned, who is kind of like a little bit part of this, told a radio station that the discovery was a shame, but not the end of the world. I already said that quote.
Yeah.
Adding that there were a dozen more where that came from.
A dozen more in the catacombs or just elsewhere?
I think he meant down in the catacombs.
Oh.
I think he was saying like there's a lot. Well, again, he goes back to his saying like there's a lot of shit down there that you don't understand or know.
That's kind of scary to me.
Like almost sort of like a whole cultural thing sort of like happening down there. I'm intrigued.
You certainly are.
I found this fascinating when I was researching.
It is fascinating.
I was looking up Reddit threads of like people who had gone down there and crazy stuff. Underground cinema societies have been a thing for a long time. So in the 1960s and 70s, underground film festivals emerged as a crucial platform for showcasing alternative cinema, especially as mainstream films were frequently banned for violence and obscenity. Censorship, girls.
Yeah.
We're talking censorship.
Yep.
So, I mean, stuff like this had to come through so that we could, like, fight through the power.
Exactly.
Fight the power.
Fight the man.
So by the 1980s, radical subcultures like urban squatters, the traveler community, and anti-poll tax campaigners fostered an environment where amateur and micro-budget filmmaking could flourish. So these, underground cinemas were a way to get art out into the world that wouldn't necessarily be seen. So in a way, I support it.
I get that part. I just don't understand, like, in the today
The
times,
location, yeah.
deciding that you needed to see some 1950s film noir down in the catacombs on a stone, on a rock, with your couscous.
I think it sounds like a fun Friday night.
I can tell you're really into it.
In the early 90s, before surreal filth and graphic violence became widely accepted by mainstream audiences, collectives such as Exploding Cinema offered a vital space for showcasing the fruits of decades of cinematic rebellion. These groups became a haven for experimental documentaries, pornographic films, splatter horror, found footage, and kitsch animation, giving voice to 50 years worth of pent-up creative frustration.
That makes sense.
There's a really great article for the publication Dazed by Carla Pelisoff, where several cataphiles are interviewed. Their names have been changed for the article. I'm not going to mention them, but I'll just mention a few of the things that they talked about. So one cataphile describes it as surreal, akin to the upside down from Stranger Things.
Oh.
They often stumble upon this world accidentally and become addicted to the unique experience. Some describe it as a warm underground atmosphere with music and parties. These people organize gatherings, emphasizing the freedom and lack of rules of that space down there.
I mean, I could definitely see the appeal of it to certain people.
I could too, absolutely. There's these things called descent races, which are called cata sprints.
Oh my goodness.
And they're popular. It used to be that you'd enter somewhere and you had to come out through another exit as fast as possible. So you'd have to get from A to B as quick as you could.
Sure. They're really playing up all the different ways you can use the term catacombs, like cata sprint, cata file, cata flips. Like they're really going hard.
There's a lot of catas.
Cata couscous.
Catacous. Kate, you just made up the name for the food they had there. You could have written the menu for that movie theater.
I could have, if only I'd known and it hadn't been so secretive.
Catacouscous, whiskey on the rocks.
Hey.
So yeah, those cata sprints, you'd try to avoid all contact with the surface. So you start inside, and then there's a final destination underground that you have to get to as quickly as possible, with passage points being added along the way.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
sounds
racing.
difficult.
It sounds tough.
Yeah.
I don't want to do that.
No.
I'll watch a movie. Stories of people getting lost in the catacombs have been around.
That's terrifying to me.
Yeah. And what's also interesting about it that I think I'll mention in here, but I didn't realize, is that it's not all at one level under the ground.
Oh.
It's multiple layers.
I didn't realize that.
I didn't either.
That's
that
even
you
scarier.
can get down into through holes, through like...
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, so they think there's like 7 layers of
hell?
Catacombs. Yeah, basically. Well, no, I mean, the Paris catacombs have been likened to an entrance to hell, which is where the movie I brought up will come into play.
Okay.
We'll talk more about that. So yeah, stories have been around for ages. In Gaston Leroux's 1903 novel, The Double Life, 2 heroes get lost in the quarry tunnels, eventually finding their way into an ossuary where a concert is happening. This event actually occurred in 1897 and inspired Leroux's writing. Gaston Leroux, if you don't know, wrote the Phantom of the Opera novel.
Okay.
I did, when I went to Paris, go to the Opera House and take a picture by Box 5.
What was Box 5?
That was the Phantom's box.
Oh, okay.
So let's get into some spooky, scary legends and stories from down in the catacombs.
Let's do it.
Story number 1, the abandoned video camera. One urban legend from the 1990s tells of cataphiles finding a video camera in the ossuary with no owner in sight. The footage revealed disturbing noises and the apparent madness of the person who became lost. The video ends abruptly when the camera is dropped and the fate of the person remains unknown.
Oh.
Additionally, it is said that after midnight, disembodied voices in the catacombs attempt to lead explorers deeper into the ossuary, causing them to get lost.
Oh.
ABC, I did a little more research on this. ABC Family had a show called Scariest Places on Earth that was narrated by the lady who was in Poltergeist and Teen Witch. She has a very distinct voice.
I know who you're talking about.
Yeah.
Hang on.
Zelda Rubinstein.
Okay, yeah. I was like, it was on the tip of my tongue, and I was like,
I thought I would remember that. Yeah, Zelda Rubinstein. She's amazing.
Yeah.
She narrated the series, and it's so good. I remember watching it when it was on TV. Not this specific episode, but that series. It scared the shit out of me because she narrated it. So there was a filmmaker named Francis Friedland, and he's the one who acquired the actual footage that those people had found. And in this segment, he has the camera with the footage on it, which is crazy. You can watch the video, and it is kind of crazy. Obviously, you're not really seeing the person because they're holding the film, but they're going through the catacombs, and he comes upon this sort of etched in rock figure, and then comes up to a bunch of bones next to the path, and he's just kind of hovering there, and then all of a sudden he starts to breathe heavily and walk faster and faster, and he's just almost running, and then you see the camera drop, and then his feet just keep going. And nothing after that.
And no one knows what happened to him.
No, the film just ran out.
Oof.
Friedland found a cataphile to see if he could find what area the guy was in within the tunnels.
Mhm.
And he ends up getting there and crawling through a whole bunch of, they go through like 6 miles of
Oh my
tunnel.
God.
And like they think they're going to be able to get out at a certain point, but they get to that point and find that it's been sealed off.
Oh, this
So
is
they
like
have
my
to go-
absolute nightmare.
So they have to go all the 6 miles back to where they started
Jeez.
to get out.
I am feeling very claustrophobic right now. Oh.
Yikes. So there are areas that just keep leading you down further and further.
No thanks.
Friedland and his team crawled for 6 miles. Everyone was tired and they wanted out, so they abandoned the search for the cameraman. They had a tough time down there and even got turned around themselves.
Ugh.
Friedland ends up finding an area where the man dropped the camera. They find that picture
Oh, okay.
and where the bones were. And the guy, I think, had like put an arrow like in the dirt, and that was there too.
Oh.
So like they found the area he was, but never found the guy.
Weird. Are there, so you said dirt, are there footprints?
It's rocky and muddy and dirty. So I think there's a lot of footprints.
Got it.
Yeah. Another story is called The Last Doorman. And another tale features Philibert Aspert, a porter at the Val de Grace Convent during the French Revolution. Aspert entered the quarries to reach the Chartreux Convent's liquor cellar and got lost.
Oh, no.
With only a candle, he couldn't find his way out and perished when the light went out.
Oh.
His body was found 11 years later
What?
in 1804,
Jeez.
identified by his hospital keyring. Legend says he haunts the catacombs on November 3rd, the anniversary of his death.
Ugh.
The Green Man. Bandits using the catacombs for illicit activities spread stories of a ghostly figure called the Green Man to deter intruders. This tactic was similar to legends used by smugglers to protect their caves. So Green Man isn't real. Green Man is a
Okay.
legend that was created by people to keep people out
Got
of the
it.
catacombs. I'm green,
And I'm a man.
and I'm a man. In the 12th century, bandits took over the limestone quarries beneath the Luxembourg Gardens and terrorized the locals.
Oh, people suck.
Everybody's just out here trying to terrorize everyone else.
I hate it.
The locals believed the lights and noises were caused by the devil, leading to the legend of the Diable Vauvert inhabiting the area. So they thought it was a demon, and it was actually just...
Assholes.
So we're also going to talk about a movie that was said to be inspired by the Lost Man video called As Above, So Below,
Okay.
which is a found footage horror movie about the catacombs that came out in 2014. Let's talk about it.
All right, let's.
The movie is the first to get the rights from the French government to film down in the catacombs.
Wow.
And not just that mile that's open to the public.
Oh.
Like a closed off area of the tunnels located in the south system is what it's called.
Oh.
So from this, they had to get safety clearance to make sure no walls would collapse and that the air was okay to breathe.
Anytime that you go to a job and they're like, hang on, we just got to make sure stuff's not going to collapse and that we can breathe. Just give us a second.
Just hang on.
Maybe just leave that job. I don't think I could do that. That's so scary.
It was insane. You've seen the movie, right?
No.
Oh, Kate. Oh, Kate. This is a good one. Directed by John Eric Dowdle and written by both Dowdle brothers, John and Drew, As Above, So Below follows archaeologist Scarlett Marlowe, played by Perdita Weeks, on a quest for a mystical artifact rumored to be hidden in the Paris catacombs.
Okay.
She assembles a team, including an old flame, played by Ben Feldman, and local experts to explore the catacombs. Their adventure takes a terrifying turn when they must navigate a haunted tunnel, turning their world literally upside down.
Ugh.
So filming for the movie took 2 months in Paris in 2013. It was produced by Legendary Pictures and distributed by Universal Pictures. The production budget was an estimated $5 million with a worldwide gross of $41 million.
Wow.
It did pretty well.
Yeah, that's a pretty good
which
return.
yeah. I will say I don't think it got great reviews.
Okay.
But from what I've looked up afterwards, it has a pretty big cult following of people.
Okay.
Because of what the representation of it is, which I'll get into here. So during a video interview conducted in the actual catacombs, the Dowdles shared their experiences of filming in these eerie tunnels. John Dowdle described the experience as genuinely scary and likened it to a nightmare, recalling how one crew member lost his composure. This unsettling atmosphere inspired their portrayal of fear in the film. Drew Dowdle highlighted the achievement of filming in the actual tunnels as a major success, especially given the difficulties in obtaining permits.
Well, sure. So with that crew member, like, what did he do?
Oh, he freaked out. He got claustrophobic and freaked out.
That would be me.
Yeah. So due to permit conditions, the crew was kept small and actors wore cameras and lights on their heads. So despite the challenges of crawling through narrow passages and wading through water, the Dowdles made the most of the experience, incorporating real claustrophobic reactions into the film.
This is, I mean, I'm sorry I keep like reacting like,
That's okay, no,
but
please.
I feel every bit, like I feel, my chest feels like something's on it right now. Like I feel like I can't breathe.
Kate.
Like maybe I'm having a panic
Do you want me to
attack.
stop?
No, like let's get through it. But like I can feel, I feel
You
like
know
I'm,
that feeling. You can really like...
yes, we're in a closet. There are no windows here. It's a very small room. And I am like, I'm having
Except for the mirror, which is a portal to another realm.
So at
not
least we know
necessarily-
that if anything happens, I could just jump on through.
I got you.
Thank you.
John Eric noted that they screened actors for claustrophobia, and one actor's genuine discomfort added authenticity to his performance. Drew Dowdle agreed, stating that the actor's claustrophobic scene enhanced his performance, making it feel less like acting and more like a real experience. He doesn't... I don't think they give the name of who this person was.
Okay.
I don't think they wanted to like expose somebody as claustrophobic.
Sure.
Because in the movie, everybody's claustrophobic.
Yeah.
Like there's a scene where a guy gets stuck but in a pile of bones in like the ceiling and like can't get out and starts freaking out. Maybe you shouldn't watch this movie, Kate. I think you might have a panic attack.
I don't think I could handle it, honestly.
It's very claustrophobic.
Oh, no.
That scene in particular, like, kind of got me. The crew had a hard time getting props and pieces down into the tunnels because, you know, the openings aren't that big.
Yeah.
But they did manage to get, don't ask me how, they brought a piano and a car down there.
Okay. What? Through a drain? What the hell?
Yes. I mean, the piano isn't like a grand piano. It's like one of those stand-up. But still, it's a piano.
Yeah.
And the car is like a little bug.
Still, it's a car.
Other than those big pieces, they didn't have much else to work with. They wanted the movie to really draw on the atmosphere and environment of the catacombs, which it does.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I can imagine. I don't want to, but I can.
One of the film stars, Ben Feldman, spoke about his experience making the movie and said, quote, "The only entrance to one of the main locations in the catacombs that we shot in was via the parking lot of a working hospital. So we would go into the trailers and get covered in blood, dust, scars, and gore, and then grab our coffees and have a leisurely stroll through a hospital parking lot past doctors and patients all staring at us.
Whoa.
We were just covered in blood and walking past all these people who could theoretically save us."
I do like Ben Feldman, I will say.
I do like Ben Feldman.
I haven't seen this movie, but I do like him as an actor.
One final aspect I do want to touch on is that As Above, So Below intricately weaves elements of Dante Alighieri's Divine Comedy into its narrative. The Divine Comedy is an exploration of the 9 circles of hell. A lot of people see the catacombs as this horrid place for death underground, and because of the lore of death, it has a reputation for being the entrance to hell, which we've talked about before. It's a terrifying descent into the underworld where each layer of the catacombs corresponds to a circle of hell.
Yep, that makes sense.
The catacombs themselves are depicted as a labyrinth network mirroring the structure of hell in Dante's work. So as the characters venture deeper into the catacombs, the environment becomes increasingly hostile and nightmarish, paralleling the progressive layers of suffering and torment described in the Divine Comedy. The film's use of claustrophobic, oppressive spaces and disturbing imagery evokes the sense of Dante's infernal circles, where the protagonists face both physical and psychological horrors. So, moreover, the journey of the main character, Scarlett Marlowe, can be seen as an allegorical quest for redemption akin to Dante's pilgrimage. Scarlett's search for the mythical artifact beneath Paris transforms into a profound personal odyssey where the trials and tribulations faced by her and her team reflect a journey through both literal and metaphorical hell.
Mm-hmm.
This thematic alignment with Dante's work underscores the film's exploration of guilt, redemption, and the human psyche under duress. I'm not super familiar with the Divine Comedy. Did you ever study it or read it?
It's been a while, but yeah, I had to study it in school.
I never had to in school, and I always wanted to. I think I even bought a copy of it, but I just bought a version. It's an abridged version of it that is theatrical for radio that the BBC did.
Oh, okay.
I got it on Audible. I haven't listened to it yet, but I'm excited to. I'll let you know if it's good. That is the history of the Paris catacombs, nay quarries, the explosion at the graveyard. Bones underwater, bones underground,
bodies on bodies,
death, sadness, tunnels,
claustrophobia, panic attacks, my
movies,
trauma,
couscous, whiskey, movie theaters, film noir, and As Above, So Below.
Have you seen As Above, So Below?
Yeah.
The look on your face. Kevin looks so pleased.
I had never heard of it before. It's gained popularity over the years. I don't necessarily think it was a big hit when it came out.
Sure.
Because I remember seeing it on streaming, like, I think 2015, 2016. And I was like, ooh, this sounds interesting. And I watched it and I was like, holy shit, this is like a really good movie.
Oof.
And then I went and looked up the Divine Comedy, and I what I really loved there are very like subtle references and instances where a character will end up like somebody in that circle, like how they were punished.
Yeah.
And I think that's why the movie is doing so well afterwards.
Sure.
Because people are like, this is an allegory for faith. This is a really interesting take. And then the final scene is just so cool.
Okay.
So cool.
Don't know if I'll be able to watch it.
No. Even I was kind of like, oh.
If you were like that, then yeah, I'm probably a no. If any of you out there have ever been, let us know. I don't think I could do it.
Let us know if you've seen the Catacombs.
And you can do that by commenting on Instagram, Facebook, or YouTube, or Spotify at
Horrorwood Podcast.
Or send us an email at
horrorwoodpodcast@gmail.com.
And if you want to be awesome like Brittany Davies and get that fall gift package, you can do so by signing up at
patreon.com/horrorwoodpodcast.
I can't breathe, and I think I need to exit this closet.
Let's get out of the closet.
Woo!